In honor of the U.S. Air Force, let's make my Sky Guardians quilt pattern, which you could whip up quickly and is also perfect for Quilts of Valor. Now I am using Kindred by Sharon Holland and the background Cloud Deco Stitch, all from Art Gallery Fabrics. And for this pattern, you will need 36 10-inch squares and 2/3 of a yard of background fabric. Then with your background yardage, you will cut a total of 144 2.5-inch squares. Then with your 10-inch squares, you are going to subcut them into 4 5-inch squares per each layer cake. But feel free to substitute charm packs or 5-inch squares instead for a more scrappier look. But once everything is cut, it is time to build your block. First, you will select 4 matching print 5-inch squares and 4 2.5-inch background squares. Then with your background 2.5-inch squares, on the wrong side you will draw a 45-degree line from corner to corner with a fabric marking tool. Then you will place your background squares like so and so on that line that you just drew. Then using fabric scissors or a rotary cutter, you will cut 1/4 inch away from the sew line and press your snowball corners open. Then you'll just repeat the same process for each 5-inch square. Once your correct corners are snowballed, then you'll just sew your blocks together to form rows, and then lastly sew those rows together to complete a 9.5-inch square. So you'll just repeat these steps until you have formed a total of 36 quilt blocks. Once all of your blocks are made, you will select 4 quilt blocks and create the layout shown. And you will sew your blocks together to form rows, and then lastly sew those rows together to complete a 18.5-inch square block. Then you'll just repeat this step until you have made a total of 9 quilt blocks. Once all of your jumbo quilt blocks are made, you will lay them out side by side in a 3x3 layout to complete your quilt top. And of course, you'll just once again sew your blocks together to form rows, and then lastly sew those rows together to complete your quilt top. And here is what my quilt top looks like all completed. For the background, I am using a coordinated print from within the collection, and I am using glide threads in the color coral for the quilting. And here is what my Sky Guardians quilt looks like all quilted. 36 10-inch squares and 2/3 of a yard of background will yield you a 54-inch by 54-inch square quilt. And for the quilting, I went with Starstruck with the rounded stars from my Creative Stitches, which I will have linked down below in the description. But I do hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.